Hey everyone, welcome back to the Atypical Declutter Game. My name is April and you are at Atypical Life. Today's day 16. Today is a tip for when you are feeling overwhelmed and you don't know where to start. I think that there are a bunch of ways to approach this, but this is just today's tip. One of my favorite ways is just to walk in the door of a room or whatever space you're considering needs decluttered and start at that door or start at the very beginning of that space. And just start right there where you're at, where your feet are. Or I like to go, sometimes this is the far corner from the door, but I might like to go to the far corner and work my way around. And I will just work literally like in a square around the perimeter of the room. I'll pick a direction and just go. Okay, so that's it. The video's over. There's really not much else to this. Walk in a room, look around, what is closest to you. You can go ahead and get out of the way anything that's just out of place if you like. I like to lightly tidy as I declutter, but I try not to get too involved with heavy cleaning, but I think it's okay to wipe off a shelf. If you've got everything off the shelf, yeah, might as well wipe it off. Just try not to get distracted by heavy cleaning. Like, don't be cleaning carpets and stuff if that's not, you know what I mean? Like, you don't have to do all that. Because it distracts you from the real goal. But just start decluttering the first area you come to. Unless you have a large chunk of time, I like to keep it really small and manageable. By this, it will probably be one drawer, one rack of clothes. I might do like one basket. Just start with one thing at a time. Don't pull out throw 6 drawers of clothes on the floor. You're going to overwhelm yourself. And it takes a lot of time to do that. So if this isn't something you have a lot of practice with, I would really not recommend that. But just start with a random pile, go through it, declutter what needs to go, and put away what's out of place, and then move on to the next area. That way it stays simple. So you could do this one, and then you could go do the next one. There's a time and a place for big, larger declutters, but I personally think that it's the small declutters that are going to keep us moving over time. I think that that's the way to approach this over the long haul. This is a really good time to remember to honor your container. So, for example, if you're doing a sock drawer and it's over full, consider getting rid of just enough socks to make it easy to use and comfortable, or make note that you need to expand sock storage. This is also a really good time to arm yourself with a few of those questions we've talked about. At the end of this challenge, I would like to make a list and maybe a whole video just for the questions. I'm not sure how I'm going to approach that yet, but I found that if you focus on just 1 or 2 questions at a time, it has a stronger impact and it keeps it more manageable than having a whole list. Does it have a hole? Does it have this? Does it this? I think that gets overwhelming and very time consuming. But if you just walk around the room and you're like, is it trash? Is it worth $1,000? Do I use it? And pick out the things that you can see, as you're decluttering that don't fit that category. I think that kind of keeps, like I said, it's more manageable than going through a whole sheet of things.
Okay, so this couldn't be a better example of as soon as you walk in the door, because this was literally the very first thing you came to when I walked in from my back door. And I had started decluttering the kitchen, and this is the very first thing I came to. But the truth was, we weren't playing with it anymore. It was time to let it go. I had to have a moment with it. I said thank you. I did all the things. I took a picture of it. This is the picture of it. And this is the picture of it because I actually forgot to take the picture before I decluttered it. I sold it. So I had cleaned it up and I had taken a better picture of all the accessories, but I forgot to take a picture of the kitchen itself. So the kitchen and the accessories that went with the kitchen are all gone. And now we are at 160 items. And I have replaced this kitchen that I love and I miss, but I've replaced it with a shoe rack that is so much more useful for us. We really, really needed a place to put shoes by the back door when we came in and out from playing or running or whatever we're doing outside. So as sad as I was, we are using the space. It was valuable space, and I appreciate that it's being used now in a more efficient way.
Okay, so that's all for today. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know how you like to approach decluttering, or if you have any tips. Like I said, I have a few more, but I just trying to share like little bits at a time to keep the videos really short and just easy. Easy. This is about being easy. All right, and I will see you guys again soon. Bye. So, does it bring you joy? Asking that question actually just brings up discomfort and like kind of confusion. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Atypical Clutter Game. My name is April and this is Atypical Life. This is day 17. I forgot. But this is about KonMari or don't. Once upon a time in a land not so far away, YouTube, KonMari was the ultimate way to declutter. It was so trendy. Everybody was doing KonMari, KonMari, KonMari. I did a KonMari series on this channel. You can check it out. I'll try to playlist it somewhere. And I have read the book at least 2.5 times. So here's what I learned. All of this is kind of off the top of my head, so there's might be leaving some things out. But here's what I know for sure that I learned from KonMari, from doing the KonMari method. Decluttering a whole house this way is insanely time consuming. And most people, especially those with kids or several people in the house, will struggle to find time to commit to the process. Asking if your items bring you joy is absolutely brilliant. And I know that some people really, really struggle with this, but I feel like that some of those people, just some of them, are being purposefully dense as kind of a defense mechanism. Because, I mean, obviously, you know, sometimes we have to keep things that don't bring us joy. I think that it's pretty obvious. Hammer, gotta keep it. But I also think there's another more unfortunate reason that people struggle with this, and that's because of our culture. Our culture really encourages people to deny their emotions so often that a lot of people feel shame in connection with their emotions, and they're not really able to like connect. They're not really able to connect to what brings them joy and what doesn't. So, does it bring you joy? Asking that question actually just brings up discomfort and like kind of confusion. So if you want to know more about getting in touch with your emotions and sort of the some like a more emotional type videos, you can check out my other channel. I have been very, very slowly investing in it and trying to get it off the ground. But like I started with an emotional intelligence series, but I started it long ago and I'm just kind of adding to it very infrequently. So check that out if you're interested. But so does it bring you joy is really a great question to add to your list, because feeling the feeling that you associate with the item is often a really fast, intuitive way to know whether or not something is working for you. You look at the shirt and you either have good feelings towards it or you have bad feelings. If you had bad feelings, if you have good feelings, it's a keep. If you have bad feelings, you probably don't want to keep it, but maybe you can justify keeping it. And then that's where the logic starts to come in and blah, blah, blah. Like if you can just KonMari, it's so much faster. But I know people like us, people that are watching this series, it's a little bit more of a struggle, but that one was actually really helpful for me because it did make it really fast. Okay, so another thing I learned is that there's no such thing as only decluttering one time. Decluttering is a continual process, and I feel like KonMari method sold once and done. You'll do this one time and then you'll be done. But decluttering is a continual process, and especially if you have kids. But any changes in your life, day-to-day routine, hobbies, weight, height, mental capacity, eating habits, health, changes in society, gas prices, electric prices, new tech, new job, any part of your life that continues to grow will grow out of things and into other things. And you will be decluttering for life. So you may as well learn how to do it well, or at least learn how to do it in a way that works over time. Another thing, saying thank you to things is really helpful, especially items that you feel sentimental towards. Sometimes, like my baby's clothes and stuff, sometimes I just hug those things and I have a little moment with them and I thank them and I tell them the things that they did for me that was amazing. And how I felt when I saw my baby wear this item or whatever. You know, it doesn't have to always be this sentimental. I'm going a little overboard. But I know that I need to let this item go in order to honor the processes of growth and encourage the next phase to be supported and nurtured. And at this point, it might actually have to put it in the trash, and then that's hard. But one of the things, if it's going in the trash, I'll cover it up so that I'm not torturing myself by looking at something that I loved in such a, place like a trash can. Anyways, decluttering by category is awesome because you're able to see duplicates or things that you can use instead of the other thing. You can also clearly see how much of something that you have, and a lot of times that helps us. It makes it easier to let go of stuff because you realize I'm never able to use all this. Like, it's just impossible. I have way more than days in life. So it happens, The other stuff in the book went into like drawer folds and storage. I thought that stuff was kind of fun to try. The folding stuck with me, but not much else did that I can recall right off. I know I still like the folding. I still fold my drawers that way. Another really important thing to note is that Marie Kondo herself gave up on KonMari, and I think that's really unfortunate because there were a lot of really great points in the KonMari method. I just think it was oversold, and that she was a bit naive to think that you can declutter one time and that be it forever. She also didn't have kids when she was pushing KonMari, and you can just tell. You can tell that she didn't have kids and that she probably lived, I think she lived alone or just with her husband maybe. But yeah, you can just tell that like she had complete control or lots of control over her environment. She was someone who just really pushed that whole peaceful, calm life with nothing out of place and putting everything away right after you use it, and you're never running late. And, that's just never going to happen for people who have more than one or two people living in their space. I also would like to say that I feel like this is kind of a side note, but she contributed to her downfall by pushing really expensive items, and I think it kind of just made people feel like duped. Like, oh, let's throw away all of our stuff so we can buy your really expensive stuff. But I think, we learned this, we learned this stuff. She got absolutely incredibly famous like that. Anyways, the point of me saying all this is that I wouldn't mind seeing her make a comeback. I would love to hear what her new outlook and what she learned while having kids, because I'm sure she's still a fantastic housekeeper, or she still thinks about things in that way. So I'm sure that she has some great thoughts. I would love to hear them. I'm always up for a really good comeback story. But the point is, if you want a big systematic declutter, I personally think that KonMari is not the devil that some people tried to make it out to be, nor is it the one and done savior that others tried. But what it is was a really good way to get started. It had a pretty good roadmap, especially right there at the beginning. If you can just go through the categories that she lists in the book, that is a great roadmap. Your house will look so much better. Just know it is really time consuming. So if you can find the time, it's a great program. You will not have any regrets. You will not have any regrets if you KonMari your home.
Okay, so this is day 17. I'm now at 170 items. I'm going to consider this 10 more, even though it's like quite a bit more than that, I guess. But this one was kind of inspired by the KonMari method. So as I was walking around putting up laundry, I was like, let me see if there's anything that I see that stands out that is not giving me joy. Like I said, I was putting up laundry. So we have like an old t-shirt, some socks, and an old washcloth and some underwear. But basically it was just like, these things don't fit right, they don't sit right, I don't use them, the color's wrong. There was something about them, and then I had kept them previously, because at some point they did bring me joy. But like for example, the socks, as they sat there unused, they started to not bring me joy, just because even though they were cute and they're a really nice fitting sock, I just don't wear them because they're the wrong color. So moving on, then the other thing that KonMari really I think it was the first time in my life that I'd ever really been confronted with paper clutter as an issue. I don't think I'd ever really thought about it before. And not only presented with the issue of paper clutter, but, she actually offers a solution, and her solution is basically not to keep any of it ever. And that at the time was incredibly revolutionary to me. I was like, what? And I mean, you're thinking like, we're just getting into the digital age here. When her book came out, I'm not saying we weren't just getting into it, but we were just getting more comfortable with it, I think, to get more comfortable with all your bills and stuff being paperless. So it was just really revolutionary to me. And it changed the way that I approach paper. Do I still struggle with paper? Yes, a little bit, nowhere near the way that I used to. doing KonMari really encouraged me to come up with a nice filing system and just a very small filing system. It's probably a little bit more than she recommends, but I still have my struggles. But I mean, it's one drawer, so I have a one drawer filing system. I keep only those super most important things, and sometimes I get backed up on going through it. But I have that whole other system. One pile is shred and one pile is trash recycle. So I'm able to get rid of a whole lot more now that I'm not carrying around from day to day.
All right, you guys, that's all for today. Let me know if you tried to do KonMari, if you made it through the whole program. Keep posting your progress pics on A.Typical Declutter, and I will see you guys again soon. Bye. Giving someone a gift with strings attached is not a gift. It is a burden. It is a new job. It is something you add to the to-do list. It is a new item to dust. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Atypical Declutter Game. My name is April and you are at Atypical Life. Today is day 18. Burdens are not gifts. This subject is really tough, but I think this is one of those times when you're going to just have to be kind of tough here. I am giving you permission to take care of yourself, and you can't take care of yourself by pleasing others all of the time. Let's be honest, some people in our life are compulsive gift givers and shoppers, and they pick up random things that you did not ask for and then give them to you. And sometimes we appreciate this, but sometimes if you're in a home full of cutesy little items that you are trying to get a handle on, it might not be a gift, but a burden. And I know that that feels really cold, so let's just sit with it for a minute, and then we're going to reframe it. Let's turn the perspective back to you, and think of you as being the gift giver. If you give someone a gift, it shouldn't come with strings attached, right? They should have the freedom to enjoy receiving it, because that is really the gift, is giving and the receiving, and then immediately donating it if they see fit. So, oh, I accept your gift, I love it, it's beautiful, blah, 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 blah. Now I'm going to take it to Goodwill because I appreciated it and I appreciate the thought that you put behind it. I know this sounds crazy, but bear with me. Don't give people gifts if you want to tell them how they have to use it. Giving someone a gift with strings attached is not a gift. It is a burden. It is a new job. It is something you add to the to-do list. It is a new item to dust. Okay, so if someone gets mad because you can't use the lovely such and such and you don't want to display the lovely such and such that they bought you, that's not your problem. That's their problem. Don't make it your problem, because this becomes an example of poor boundaries and this is bad mental health. Okay? But beyond that, this isn't about mental health. I mean, kind of it is, because, we're taught so much to be so grateful for gifts that we have to just accept everything, and to put a wall and to not want this thing, then we're just bad people, and it's so complicated. But let's just stay on topic today. And if you must tell someone you can't use the gift, try to be tactful if you can. Think about it. Take a minute. If you don't have to tell them, don't tell them. Don't make a big issue out of it. If somebody gives you a one-off kind of thing and you're like, they're never going to ask about it, then just donate it if you feel safe doing that, or pass it on. But make sure you kind of tell the person you passed it to, or tell the person you gave it away, that it's a regift. Because regifting can get a little weird sometimes. I had a friend regift a coffee mug to the friend who gifted it to her. And yeah, it was just really uncomfortable for everybody. You may have to have a few hard conversations in your life, and I've had to have a few of these, but especially if you have compulsive shoppers or compulsive gifters in your life, tell them you're struggling and you know how much they love gifting, and you do love how thoughtful they are, but you really need to get a handle on some things. You're trying to work on your life. Could they maybe just send you a picture instead of the actual item? Or even ask your approval first before they actually buy the item. Because there's still something about the phone call. All of this is a gift. And regardless of which side of this you're on, all of this is part of the act of giving a gift. The thought, right? The thought of thinking about someone or being thought about is pretty much the same in a lot of ways. So have them call and ask your approval before they buy something. Ask them if they're okay with you enjoying it for a little bit and then passing it on to someone else. This might go over better. I think this definitely will go over better if you can do this before they come standing there with their next gift. If you have someone like this in your life, you should go ahead and give them a heads up that you have been trying to declutter and you're trying to work on your home and you really aren't wanting to bring anything else in right now. And you can explain this process to them a little bit if you choose. But it might make the conversation easier than when they're standing there holding a gift, okay? Because then I think they feel more vulnerable and are more likely to respond negatively. Also, you can remind them. So after you've had that conversation, it's easier because now you have this reference point and you can remind them when they slip up. And it makes that conversation a little bit lighter because you don't have to get into all the details and it doesn't have to be super emotional. Just simply remind them and move on. A lot of times they'll realize their mistake and, truthfully, you might have to do this a couple of times because people, whether accidentally or sometimes on purpose, unfortunately, they often test the boundaries to make sure that you're serious. But usually after a couple of uncomfortable situations, conversations, and you stand firm, they get the point. I feel like a lot of us, it just occurred to me that a lot of us have this experience with when we try to lose weight. It's kind of the same thing. You're abstaining and then people they just want to keep testing to see if they can push you to. Why do people do that to each other? Another part of this is when you come across gifts that you would like to declutter as you're actually decluttering, just find a way to do it, okay? Ask if it brings you joy. Back to the KonMari thing. Ask if you're using it. Is it worth $1,000? If it's failing and you really want to declutter it, do it. If it's valuable or a family item, ask friends or family members if they would like to have it back. And once again, just explain to them what you're doing. Otherwise, if you don't want it, don't try to keep it because then that's when it becomes not a gift and it becomes a burden, right? I know this phrase feels a little cold, but it's just short and memorable. And when you're struggling, just ask yourself this, and you don't have to say it out loud because it feels cold. I think, I feel kind of uncomfortable saying it. I don't know. maybe I'm being a little sensitive, but ask yourself, is this a gift or is it becoming a burden? No one should want you to hold on to random tchotchkes that keep you from living your best life and that you don't want and you can't use. If you get caught decluttering or they ask you about something that they gave you or they want to have this conversation, just fess up. Be honest that you were unable to use it and that you're working on paring down your life and that you let it go. And if they can't let that go, that will be their burden to carry, not yours. Don't sacrifice your whole house and your living space just to make other people feel something you don't even know whether or not they're going to feel. Okay? Have those conversations. Do it.
All right, so this is day 18. We're at 180 items. There are a few things in here actually that were gifted. When you have kids, you get a lot of stuff gifted. So it's probably one of the easier gifts to let go of because I think people kind of expect that they grow out of things. And so as sad as I am that we are outgrowing things like this, it does make me so sad. Oh gosh. It is time to let go because we don't play with them and it's just creating a lot more chaos than we need.
Thank you all for tuning in. Let me know if you have any gifts that you've been really struggling with. Let me know your thoughts about gifting and stuff. I'm very curious to hear other approaches. I'm here to learn as well as to share what I've learned so far. So I'm still learning too. Also, don't forget to post progress pics on Instagram at #A.Typical Declutter, and I will see you guys again soon. Bye.